Hey guys, we have some huge astrology playing out this week as we head towards our full moon, full lunar eclipse, blood moon, Scorpio, Taurus, dynamism point that we have coming up on Tuesday. This is going to be a huge moon, you guys. This is life-changing stuff. It's happening in a conjunction to Uranus, massive awakenings, massive transformation, major themes of endings going on right now as well. This week generally could really be bringing some big unexpected events, surprises, shocks, specifically having to do with relationships, resources, money. There could also be some things really coming to a head in regards to authority figures or any type of restriction or control that is going on. There is a revolutionary, very rebellious energy that is also playing out this week that things are sort of building to and coming with this full moon as well in the conjunction to Uranus, the rebel, the revolutionary, the great awakener. We are in some times of major change and tremendous awakening, you guys. Let's get into the energy for Monday. Let's see how our week is beginning and what is setting us up for this massive moon that is coming into play tomorrow. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Monday, November 7th, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook of the day. If you guys stick with me till the end of the report, we are going to be talking about some tarot cards that came out in correspondence with our astrology today, because I like to tap the field from more than one modality so that we can get a better, more well-rounded, more holistic, energetic overview of what is playing out in our vibrational field on any given day. So we're going to be doing that as well. And I will tell you, the message that came out in the tarot today, I feel like is very telling in terms of the general vibe right now and where we are heading at this period of time as we move towards this moon. So you don't want to miss that either. But we're going to start with the astrology as we always do. And I actually wanted to start with some of the themes that I wrote down back for my November report, if you guys missed that, for week 2 specifically. So I'm just going to start by listing off some of the themes that I was originally thinking would be somewhat characteristic of the energy this week, and then we will jump into the aspects that we have playing out today and what that might be meaning for us. But first of all, week 2 generally, all week, some significant themes that I feel like are coming through. Something big and something unexpected is probably brewing, especially today, the day before this moon. You may be able to feel it. Now, I'm not saying that this big bang is going to happen on the day of the full moon conjunct Uranus, although it's very likely. But over this next 2 weeks, this is when we are likely to see something unexpected that is playing out. And it's also, there's most likely going to be a strong feeling or a strong sense of like fate or destiny that is like woven into it some way, like this needed to happen or it needed to come to this place, or just feeling like divine intervention or divine alignment or something is responsible in some way for whatever is playing out now. This also may not be something that we really realize until down the road after the fact, like retrospect, looking back, but we will come to understand that the things that were playing out this week, specifically this period of time, this month, and ultimately, this year, this couple of year period in the greater scheme of things, were all very, very significant and very important. And, we'll be able to see the degree of divine alignment that really was at play when we look back on this energy. And if we're perceptive enough, we may actually be able to perceive that as it's playing out. But shocks, surprises, this most likely is going to have to do with money, resources, relationships, or secrets, lies, and deception. Things having to do with either the Taurus or the Scorpio themes. This could also be, though, like shocks or unexpected awakenings to things having to do with healing and related to like various forms of trauma or toxicity or addictions and stuff like that as well. But we're talking about money, resources, relationships, partnerships, food, financial, all types of agreements, arrangements, partnerships. I think I already just said those things, but then also the Scorpio dynamic of things that have been hidden, the core issue, the core problem, what has been festering under the surface of things, and also things having to do with like subconscious programming and like deeply held complexes and just all types of like places where the light doesn't normally shine, getting an illumination from the full moon, but simultaneously an eclipse, an end, a release, a culmination. This is also, remember, a Scorpio cycle that began with the new moon in the conjunction to Venus. So this whole Scorpio cycle that we're in right now has been a period of time, a cycle, a new beginning about releasing things that are out of alignment essentially with like the core truth of our value and our potential and our heart, with Venus having been combust, Venus having been eclipsed, the more surface value masks that we wear to appease people and to keep the balance and to be liked, on the more surface value of things, these things have been sort of removed, and we are getting to the core of who we are, and we are learning to love ourselves for that, and we're learning to discover and see the value and the truth of that. And life now is about to rearrange our world in a way that supports the further development, growth, and manifestation outwardly of those same themes. So this is a point in time where we are walking away from the false images or the false projections that we may have, or the false masks that we may have been wearing to appease a certain ideal or group of people or situation, or to, align with an expectation in one way or another. But anywhere we have been pulled out of our truth, we are being radically realigned back into alignment with that. And I feel like this moon and this cycle are really talking about this in a lot of ways. This is one of the foundational purposes, I feel, of this energy as it's playing out right now. But issues with conflict and resistance may also be coming up, because we do have Saturn now direct in the square to this full moon, blood moon, lunar eclipse in the sign of Taurus and Scorpio conjunct Uranus as well. We're having the square to Saturn. This could also be bringing up clashes of wills, clashes of egos, issues or conflict with, like I said, authority, resistance from authority, or duty, responsibility, stuff like that. There could also be a generalized sense of discouragement, lacking confidence, depression, or feeling low or out of control, or in some type of void that we're just being sucked into, and like we don't know what will become of us after this. This may be sort of just the collective state of things that we are picking up this week, themes as we are going through this energy. But we need to keep in mind, you guys, there's also going to be a radical reversal, and some really good stuff is going to be coming throughout the next 2 weeks of this month of November. We know from the get-go, the way this energy is playing out, that these first couple weeks are likely to be intense. They are likely to be challenging, difficult, uncomfortable, high anxiety, fast-paced, uncontrollable to some extent. However, where they are leading is somehow going to end up putting things in a much better direction. Anyways, let's now get specifically into the energy as it's playing out today. I do feel like, we've got a lot of aspects going on, just to sort of list them before I start talking about them. We have the moon entering the sign of Taurus today, which is of course where the moon will be for this full moon, also coming into a conjunction with the Chiron point. We have Uranus actually changing degrees today, which is significant because Uranus has not moved degrees in a very long time. Uranus is one of the large outer planets, moving very slow, moving retrograde right now as well. So this is putting an emphasis on a highlight on these Uranian vibes going on today as well. Of course, we have this big stellium of planets lined up in Scorpio, Venus, Sun, Mercury in the south node, making aspects to the nodes, making aspects to Uranus, making aspects to Saturn. We also have Venus particularly in a very tight square with Saturn. And of course, we also have Mars in a square to Neptune. Spell-breaking energy, you guys, but it is through perhaps some very difficult revelations or awakenings or truths or painful endings that we are experiencing right now. A sense of deep transformation, endings, or loss is something that we may be navigating energetically or just generally in our experience today, but also sort of being in the void, like I was saying earlier, disappointed over what we've lost, or feeling like the burden that we are carrying at this point in time is just very, very heavy. We may feel sort of as though we've got the weight of the world on our shoulders, or as though some type of decision that we're having to make at this point in time, or something that we're having to walk away from, or something that we're having to end is weighing very heavy on us. We also may be feeling like we know that we need to do something. We know we need to make something happen. We know we need to make some type of change, but we may feel powerless to do it, or like we don't know how to make it happen, or like we don't know how to, use what we have at our disposal in order to shift our circumstances or rearrange what's happening or create the outcome that we want. And again, in this energy, as we're going through this period of time, because we are in eclipse season, because of the emphasis of the nodes of the moon, which do indicate, the more fated, destined happenings that are playing out at any given point in time, this is just a season where things are needing to happen in specific ways so that other things can happen. And we do need to surrender to this process, but we need to surrender to the process with the faith and the knowing and the understanding that things are not as they appear right now. And this is a full moon that is happening in the sign of Taurus. This is about illuminating, right, our resources, our potential, our value that we hold inside of us with Uranus, this awakening to these truths and what might be, again, a shocking or surprising or an uncomfortable way. And it's an eclipse, and what is being eclipsed is what is being lost, what is being left, what we are walking away from is that which has been blinding us to the truth of that value, that which has been stealing our power, that which has been keeping us out of a place of self-illumination, self-empowerment based on the understanding of these resources and this value and this worth within us. So really, that's what a lot of this energy this week is pushing towards. It's putting us in situations where we are having to come to the end of the road in perhaps some very unexpected, shocking, or difficult ways in regards to things that have been stealing our power or pulling us out of the truth of our value or keeping us blind to that. There are secrets being revealed, and there are major awakenings coming this week, you guys. Specifically, again, relationships, resources, finances, value. We are in a week of, again, fated endings, radical awakenings, and breaking illusions, breaking spells, breaking hypnosis. We are seeing the truth, and we are getting snapped out of like any state of disorientation or disillusionment or I won't say disillusionment, because we could find ourselves in quite a state of disillusionment actually, but delusion, that maybe we have been under because of a false understanding or a false narrative, all this type of stuff. Okay, let's go back and let's now talk specifically about the moon in Taurus today. Moon moving into the sign of Taurus. This is setting us up for this full moon tomorrow in the early degrees of Taurus. As I said, the moon will be coming into conjunction with the Chiron point. This is the point in the sky where Chiron was discovered. The Sabian symbol of the Chiron point is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, which is telling us, the point of the hero's journey represented by the Chiron archetype and the Chiron point, this journey of transmuting our states of victimhood into self-mastery and really discovering the true value and worth within the gold of our soul. This is what we earn. This is what we gain after we go through this process of internalized transmutation and alchemization, which is also very much associated with what we are doing right now. And the moon coming to this point in the sky the day before this massive eclipse that we have playing out in the conjunction to Uranus, in the square to Saturn, with all of these planets in the sky of Scorpio. This is really huge, really significant. It may be triggering some really deep wounds today. Chiron, the wounded healer teacher, a lot of times triggers some wounds, brings up wounds for the purpose of helping us to gain an awareness and go through this process of healing. So ultimately, we can come to this place of an elevated understanding, an awakened consciousness, and a level of self-mastery that helps us be more in alignment with consciously creating our experiences going forward, which is what all of this is also leading towards as we are transitioning into the age of Aquarius. The hero's journey, the Chiron archetype, very synonymous with our energetic transition into the age of Aquarius. So we have that going on today, but honestly, whatever wounds or trauma may be coming up, it is likely to be in regards to what we are releasing, what we are moving away from, and what we are actually going through a process of healing in this energy. And it's also likely to be in regards to, relationship dynamics, but also our own personal identity and our own personal value as well, because Chiron himself is actually in the sign of Aries, the sign of the self right now. This is a very, in retrograde, also a very personalized and internalized healing journey, hero's journey back to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, the truth of our value within. With the moon in the sign of Taurus, this moon happening in the sign of Taurus, North Node and Uranus in the sign of Taurus, this is what we are awakening to, you guys. We are awakening to the pot of gold that exists within us, and universe is trying to guide us and show us how to mine that, how to utilize that, how to tap that to help create something for ourselves that makes us feel a reflection of that internal knowing externally in the world as well, helping us to step into our self-actualized energy, helping us to rise into our highest potential and tap and activate our destiny. That is where it's like everything is pushing towards that generalized purpose. But the Taurus moon today, that's sort of what I feel that might be doing for us in the context of what we're building towards tomorrow at this point in time. Like I said, number 2, Uranus changing degrees. It's so ironic with these outer planets. I always notice this, especially during the retrograde seasons. Like they move, they creep so freaking slowly, so slowly. And then it will be like, there'll be like this big activation that's happening, and like specifically like, you know, they'll be involved somehow, and they'll literally make a whole shift of a degree. Like they'll change degrees right in the specific like day or like 24 or 48 hours or something before that alignment is about to happen. The outer planets have really been doing their thing and playing their role in a lot of the activations that have been unfolding very synchronistically as this blueprint is playing out this year. And yet again, Uranus moving back, retrograding back to 17 degrees of Taurus. This is the degree where this moon will be happening tomorrow, 17 degrees of Taurus and Scorpio. He's here. He's moving today. When an outer planet moves, these big, slow outer planets, it sort of spikes their frequency across the collective and puts an energetic emphasis on that planet. We're talking about Uranus. This is this awakening energy. This is shocks. This is surprises. This is unexpected things happening. This is also, again, this desire to rebel, this desire to revolt, this revolutionary energy, this energy that wants to break free in order to align with something that is very authentic, that does not take orders like lying down, that needs to rectify things, that needs to put things right, that needs to realign things in a way that contributes to their organic growth and potential, to their truest purpose. Uranus is also the planet associated with the future, aside from the North Node. And we also have the North Node in the conjunction to Uranus right now, also in the sign of Taurus. So this is big, and I find it very significant as well, the degree where the Sabian symbol, where this is playing out. 17 degrees of Taurus, where Uranus is moving today, and where this full moon will be tomorrow. I'm going to give you guys a little preview of this coming with this moon tomorrow, but the Sabian symbol, I cannot believe this, where this is happening. 17 Taurus, a symbolic battle between swords, the disciples of might, and torches, the disciples of enlightenment. This moon, this activation is representing a spiritual battle. Ego versus the higher self, might versus light, force versus surrender and alignment with the divine. This is the energy that Uranus is referring to for the awakening that is playing out right now. This is the degree that is going to be illuminated across the collective, and also that which is being eclipsed with this full moon tomorrow. This to me is really talking about entering a phase where we are slaying demons, where we are overcoming our lower selves, where we are transmuting, alchemizing, transcending out of these base urges, out of these base instincts, out of this negative subconscious programming to which we may have been held hostage in these self-sabotaging cycles and patterns, out of these karmic loops, out of this generational trauma or generational karma. We are heading towards the age of enlightenment, you guys, the age of Aquarius, the age of self-knowledge, self-mastery, self-illumination. And because of that, mental mastery as well, the ability to co-create with God and universe. We are, the illumination is winning out over the might as this battle plays out. And, you know, try as the lower dimensional forces might, this story has already been written, the battle has already been won, and the great awakening is upon us, you guys. And I find it to be just very interesting how even the symbolism is telling us so specifically what is happening right now. This says a lot about where we're at in this transition into the age of Aquarius, and we know, like I said, the outcome of this battle. Age of Aquarius equals the age of enlightenment, illumination, self-mastery. So we are coming to a head, you guys. Things are coming to a head, and we are likely to face situations where we once and for all conquer or release ourselves from or embrace our power in such a way that we win out on any force or energy or just any long time battle that we've been fighting, either with ourselves or with like our lower dimensional nature, or with these karmic loops, or with these subconscious patterns, or with these circumstances generally that have been holding us back in life. This is a victory coming through for humanity, you guys, on an energetic, on a spiritual level, and it is going to show itself as we get through the last 2 weeks of November. Although, keep in mind, as this energy is playing out, it is likely to feel quite heavy and not the best, okay? Also, of course, we need to talk about this massive stellium that we have going on in the sign of Scorpio that is being activated and activating all of this energy. Venus, the Sun, and Mercury, they have all just conjoined the South Node. So the South Node rules our karma, and in Scorpio, this karmic detox and what we are detaching ourselves from that has been stealing our power or keeping us bound to a state that is not recognizing the value, worth, the potential that universe needs us to do right now, so that we can activate our personal purpose, activate our destiny, and play our role in this unfolding universal saga for which we decided to come to this planet and this experience at this point in time. Unexpected awakenings, you guys, likely to come through with this, because these stellium planets are in the conjunction to the South Node, the opposition to the North Node, the opposition to Uranus. This is fated, destined awakenings that are happening, and as a result, a process of release, flushing something out down the backside as well. Unexpected awakenings, major changes, revelations, realignments happening across the board. We're talking about Venus, relationships, partnerships, money. We're talking about the Sun, like the general nature of our world and what makes us feel alive and what makes us thrive, our spirit, our consciousness. We're talking about Mercury, our mind, our thought patternings, how we communicate, and the way that our cognition is operating generally. This is a release from bondage to past cycles of feeling, being, and thinking that is acting as a catalyst in this awakening process right now as well. And this is all happening in relation to the past, the South Node energy, letting things go, and a need to free or release ourselves from something, again, that has been stealing our power or keeping us from recognizing the truth of our value. Lots of stuff from the past might be coming up right now, you guys, with the Sun, Mercury, and Venus all in the sign of Scorpio in the conjunction to the South Node. Painful things from the past, unhealthy things from the past, things that have been dominating us or controlling us or have made us feel powerless in the past, wounding traumas from the past, people from the past, relationships from the past. All this type of stuff might be coming up right now, but if it's coming up, it's coming up so that we can gain an awareness of what we need to release, or the role that it played in stealing our power or keeping us from the truth of our value. A lot of the stuff coming up right now is also coming up to force us to recognize what we failed to see in ourselves before in one way or another. We are awakening, most importantly, to who we really are, what we really love, what we really want to give our time and attention to, what we truly value, and as a result of that, the way that we want to interact with ourselves, others, and the whole of our world going forward. Now, again, we have this Venus square Saturn energy that is also quite strong today because we are dealing with a Taurus moon. There's also going to be an emphasis on Venus tomorrow as well, as the full moon will be in the sign of Taurus. It's so interesting because we had our new moon in the sign of Scorpio in the conjunction to Venus where she was eclipsed, right? And then we come to the full moon, which is in the sign of Taurus, which is in the sign of Venus, who was eclipsed to start this cycle, and she's in a square to Saturn for the full moon. And whenever a planet is in a sign, it's very important what the ruler of that sign is doing. So Venus has played a special role, a special prominence, both in the new moon solar eclipse that we had, and now in our full moon lunar eclipse that we're having. And Venus square Saturn, you guys, this is also helping us really sort of drill down to what it is that we truly value and where things have been out of balance, and reassessing the level of reciprocity that we have going on in our relationships and our financial situations generally at this period of time. Venus square Saturn, and this is going to be prominent tomorrow in our full moon energy as well, but this can be a difficulty or a sense of difficulty in relating to others, and we can feel sort of like distant or isolated or, detached or aloof, because when we have this dynamic set up, it brings in this energy or this vibe where we're sort of like reappraising the value essentially of our relationships, kind of like across the board. It makes us reevaluate what we are getting out of relationships and what we are putting into relationships. As a result, it's sort of like we are sort of analyzing the more transactional nature of various relationships in our lives and deciding again where things are out of balance, where there is an uneven level of reciprocity, and what we want to continue to give our affection and our love and our heart-based energy to, what we want to continue to relate with, and what we are realizing just isn't holding the value or isn't holding a level of value that is reflecting what, Aubrey? That is reflecting the new level of worth and value within us that we are awakening to as a result of this process as it's unfolding. However it's unfolding, that is what it's trying to do. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you've always thought about yourself. I don't care what you've always been told. If you are living on this earth at this point in time right now, there is something within you that is meant to be developed that can make your life more beautiful, more abundant, more fulfilling. And not only that, is meant to serve a greater purpose, is meant to benefit others, is meant to play a role in doing something positive to the greater whole. We are moving into the age of Aquarius. This is the age of self-knowledge. This is the age of self-empowerment. Information is in a lot of ways the new currency. What we need to do right now, and what we all should be doing right now, and what you should be doing right now, is taking an inventory of your strengths, of your talents, of your abilities, of your value that you are discovering within at this point in time, of the resources that you are finding that you hold within, and figuring out how you can use them in some way to benefit the greater whole somehow. Because even if you've never recognized it before, even if you've never looked at yourself that way, even if you've never seen that dimension of yourself, it's there. And that is the point of the experience right now. And that is what universe is calling us towards right now. And the more we resist doing that, the more we fight against it, the more we say, no, 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 I don't, the more difficult, the more challenging, the more obstructive our path and our course ahead is going to be. At this period of time, our mandate essentially is to get in alignment with discovering our unique seed within us, and to take the time to detach ourselves from whatever is going on around us that may be stealing our time or stealing our attention or stealing our focus, and hone in on this creative potential, this seed within us, and figure out what we need to do to cultivate, nourish, develop, expand, and grow that. Because I'm telling you, you guys, as we go through this process, as we hone in on that, as we zero in on that and begin to do it, it will be rewarded. You will be rewarded in ways that you could never imagine, in terms of a level of fulfillment and purpose that you could never imagine, if you align with the truth of your potential, if you align with the truth of your passion, what you're interested in, what makes you feel alive, and find a way to share that and find the way to spread that. Anything else at this point in time is going to be working against us. That is just how the deck is stacked, because we are in this transition of ages. We are in this process of moving into the age of Aquarius. We are breaking cycles. This is the end of a generation, and we are laying a new legacy going forward. Everything, ties are being severed energetically and karmically from the past. And in order to lay this new foundation, it has to be laying on a bed of organic truth and on that seed, that purpose through which we were gifted and sent to this planet to plant. Okay, we are planting the new world, and we have to do that through this alignment with our authentic truth. And when we do that, and when we get in this alignment with our authentic truth, it will be rewarded and it will be propelled forward. Universe loves to expand. Universe loves to grow. Universe especially loves to expand and grow when people and individuals are contributing their authentic purpose to the greater whole of universe. So if you are feeling like your back is against a wall, if you're feeling like your world is falling apart right now, the way to navigate, the way to manage this is to recenter in that truth and look for that seed. What you are called to, what you are passionate about, that is where it is held. And that is what we are meant to align with at this point in time. And that is the energy coming through. We also have this Mars square Neptune that is simultaneously playing out, you guys. This is a theme all October, all November, basically, you know, from now throughout the winter and as we head more towards the spring. And this is also some spell breaking energy. What this energy is doing is playing into everything that I just described. It is helping us to break out of any sense of illusion we have been operating under in regards to our own ability to create through divine inspiration. Remember, we also have Mars and Mercury in a mutual reception, Scorpio, Gemini, mutual reception, while Mars is in the square to Neptune, discovering these deep truths and the transformative effect that is having on our ability to use our energy in a way that is conducive to everything that I just described, to seeding that potential within us and expanding upon it. And it may also be bringing up some serious conflict. And, you know, the same way that the Chiron energy works. The Chiron energy brings up our wounding so that we can gain an awareness of it, so that we can figure out and learn how to heal it. And that process of learning how to heal it is the process that brings us through this alchemization and this transmutation and helps us ascend into these states of self-mastery, right? This Mars square Neptune energy, I feel like, is in a lot of ways doing the same things by really maybe putting us up against our own illusions and delusions. And then with Mars retrograde right now, really having to go back and to reevaluate and to redo and to rework and to reconstruct what we've built essentially in our lives that was a reflection of this state of self-delusion out of alignment with the truth of our authentic purpose. And then again, we're talking about this cycle itself, this Scorpio cycle, which is ruled by Mars, right? Where Venus was eclipsed, which I do also feel like was helping us to sort of take the mask off in terms of this image that we've been wearing, or this, you know, this facade, or this ideal, or this need to be a certain way or to act a certain way or to portray a certain image in order to keep the balance, keep the peace, not rock the boat, or just have a certain level of status or remain in a certain type of financial situation or something like that. That is also a dimension of what has been removed or what is being removed at this period of time and as we go through this energy. So this is the setup, you guys. This is what I feel like the setup is for this full moon that's playing out tomorrow, that is likely to be quite transformational for a lot of people in a lot of ways. Now, of course, you know, Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, Leo people, if you've got planets, you know, 15 to 20 degrees-ish of fixed signs, you are really probably going to be experiencing the life-changing level of this release component the most. But I mean, across the board, really, this is so significant what's playing out that it's going to have a major, I feel, macrocosm impact that is going to trickle down and really impact the collective of humanity across, you know, I keep saying across the board. I never say that, but I've said that like 4 times in this report so far. Across the board, even if you're not specifically being impacted by this full moon eclipse. It's just some big time stuff, you guys. Even the Sabian, where it's happening, the symbolic battle between swords, the disciples of might, and torches, the disciples of enlightenment. Like, this really is literally spelling it out for us too. And of course, I will be talking much more about all of this full moon energy as we have it playing out tomorrow. I will do my report on the full moon specifically, but this is what we are looking like moving into it, setting up. Let's talk now about the tarot for a minute. Like I said, we also got quite a telling message coming through in the tarot that I feel like really is explaining to a large extent where we're at with things heading into this week. And I feel like also this may be like sort of just how we're feeling this week across the board generally. Okay, we're talking about, first of all, we've got the Five of Cups coming out first, followed by the Death card, followed by the Ten of Wands, followed by the Moon, and then we had the Hanged Man with the Magician in reverse, followed by Temperance on the back of the deck. Now, let's start at the beginning. Okay, so we're talking about the Five of Cups, right? We have a lot of major arcana coming out, you guys. Like, we got 7 cards here, right? 5 of them are major arcana. 5 is also the number of dynamic change. So we have some dynamic change going on. We're talking about these minor or these major arcana. These are like these generalized collective themes that are playing out right now, and the impact that it's having on us, the minor arcana cards that are present right now, the Five of Cups and the Ten of Wands. So in the context of these bigger themes, these overall themes that are playing out, we are likely to be feeling quite a sense of loss or disappointment or shame or perhaps even like regret, but just these more depressive energies about what we are turning our back on or what we are not seeing. This also to me is feeling like we may feel hopeless. This could be quite hopeless energy that is coming in the context of these greater themes that are playing out this week. And then we're also talking about the Ten of Wands. This is a very heavy burden that we are carrying, a struggle, something that we are struggling against or struggling to accomplish or just really like enduring through at this period of time. But you know, if you look at both of these cards, both of these people have their head down. They're not looking in front of them. They're not looking up. They're not looking around. They're not looking to the sides or behind them. They're just sort of very, very narrowly focused on the burden or the hardship or the more negative view of the scenario that's going on. Because I mean, if you look at the guy in the Five of Cups, he's still got these 2 shining golden cups standing up, but behind him, all has not been lost. In fact, the Two of Cups are behind him. That is this unconditional love, this unconditional fulfillment and harmony. It's still there. It hasn't been lost, but we may be very focused on the hardship that we are dealing with, maneuvering, navigating as we go through this week. Now, let's talk about these major arcana cards that came out. First of all, the Death card. We know it, you guys. The South Node Scorpio season ending. These transformations, the season of transformation is upon us. There's no getting away from it. There's no denying it. We are in a time of fated endings, and it is time to say goodbye to a lot of things. We also have the Moon. This is, though, a sense of mystery and confusion and unknowing and an inability to see. I feel like this is also talking about this full moon that we have coming out. And this is also talking about these deep emotions and this intuition and perhaps, again, a sense of confusion or disorientation. So on one hand, I feel like this is describing an end, perhaps, of some more confusing energy or things that we haven't been able to see or haven't been able to understand or things that have been hidden or unclear to us or have been keeping us sort of unemotionally grounded in one way or another. But it could also be this massive transformation that is taking place on an emotional level that is bringing things to light. That is also what this configuration could describe. And then with the Hanged Man coming in, you guys, I do feel like that is more likely to be the case, because then look at this guy, look at this Hanged Man. He's upside down with this illumination behind him. We have illumination up here and we have illumination down here. It's like we've received this illumination. We found out this secret. We've discovered the truth about something, but it's got our world upside down now. And we really need to take like a time out to process what is going on. Like it's really got us off kilter. Like it's really got us in a state of, again, like a sense of ungroundedness and feeling just out of place, or just like we really need to step back and look at things from a vastly different perspective. The card that was on the back of the deck, the Magician in reverse. Like I was saying earlier, as a result of what we're finding out, we may feel like the ground under our feet has been sort of just totally shaken or up-leveled in some type of a way, and we may not know what to do next. We may sort of be sitting there like in a state of like void, or in a state of like inability to act, or not knowing what to do, or feeling like, you know, we don't have what it takes to do what needs to be done, feeling like there's something that needs to be done, but maybe we don't know how to do it, or we don't know how to make it happen, or we don't know how to turn things around for ourselves, or we don't know what to do with the information, or with the understanding, or with the awakening that we've come to at this point in time. But then the card underneath the Magician in reverse was the Temperance card, okay? So we just need to rest in our faith. We just need to sit with it. We need to not try to take an action based on whatever is happening right now. More so, we need to actually surrender to the process, surrender to what we're figuring out, and allow ourselves to be in this Hanged Man energy. Allow ourselves to take a pause. Allow ourselves to step back, to look at things from multiple perspectives, to consider things from all angles, to allow this enlightenment or this illumination or what we figured out or what we've discovered to really percolate around and bounce around and not be a catalyst to action at this point in time. We do not want to take whatever we're figuring out right now and make some type of show of force, or force something to happen in one way or another. We want to be patient. We want to sort of temper out whatever emotions are coming to us, and we don't want to sort of like stubbornly or rashly or impulsively move forward, because we really need to process whatever is going on right now in order for us to get the best result. But again, we have the Temperance coming out last, you know, this is the hand of God putting things right, rebalancing things. We've got this illumination going on back here as well with the Crown. This is waking us up to the truth of our value, bringing us back to the seat of our throne, you guys. And I'm telling you, over this next couple of weeks, things are going to make a lot more sense, and we're going to be seeing things from a much more positive perspective. So we're doing our best. We are just doing our best. And at the end of the day, Venus square Saturn, while we have the moon in the sign of Taurus, introspection, self-analysis, all of the Scorpio energy, some deep internalized healing going on, purification, regeneration, this ego versus the higher self, because we are conquering these demons. We are winning these battles. We are growing, and we are growing up and growing out of the mindsets and the patterns and the programming and the karma and the attachments and the cycles that may have been controlling or overpowering us up until this point of time. We are going through a personal revolution and rebirth, of which the recognition of the truth of our own value is the catalyst. So that's what I have to say today, you guys, in terms of the tarot. Let's grab one more card. Synchronicity card, God, Spirit, Universe. What do we need to know about the energy as it's playing out today? And it says, seek the spirit. We've got the Temperance card coming through last. The angels in the faith, seek the spirit. There is no power but of God's. Romans 13:1. When you have a problem, become aware of the power of God to help you. There is no power but that of God. Seek the spirit of God within you. Do not give power to others to affect your situation. Know that God is there for you, already solving this problem. Find joy in your heart with this knowledge. God is there for you. There is no problem you cannot handle. We need to not get stuck in this 5 of Cups, 10 of Wands energy this week. We had Temperance coming in on the back of the deck. Seek the spirit, rest in our faith. Things are happening for a reason, and they are for a reason that is ultimately going to benefit you going forward, and we cannot forget that. That's what I have to say, you guys. Message from the stars, message from the cards. I hope you liked it. I hope I was able to provide something for you that can give you a little bit of whatever you're needing as you're navigating this energy. If you guys did like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, you guys. Share it with your friends if you think that they would find this type of content interesting as well. Leave me comments. I value and appreciate you guys so much. I really am grateful for your presence here. Thank you so much for your comments. I love knowing how this energy is affecting you and how things are playing out for you guys as this energy unfolds. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, and some other socials. Those are in my description box below. Come back with me tomorrow, you guys. We are going to be talking all about this blood moon, supermoon, full moon, conjunct Uranus, square Saturn, bang, bang, bang. Lots to talk about. It's going to be huge, you guys. I'll be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. Have a beautiful day, you guys. Until tomorrow. Bye, everyone.